Hey everybody, welcome to Ocala Garage. My name is Thomas. This is, I think, going to be part 43 of my Daytona Coupe build. And those of you who've been following will see something finally has changed. I have a hood mounted on this car. So the last video, which I'll try to remember to link up above, I talked about the hood mounts, the hinges, that I cut one of them a little short to do some clearances. And in this video, I'm going to show you if that was actually even really necessary. And then we'll talk a little bit about what I think I need to do with my hood. And that's about it. At this point, there's just going to be a lot of like sanding and adjusting and making things fit. And then mounting, the headlight buckets and whatnot. Getting all that stuff done so I can title and register the car. So, and then there's a whole bunch of other crap that still needs to be done. It's not going to be finished by any stretch, but I want to get it finished enough so I can drive it and kind of do some shakedowns and fix things as I think they need to be fixed, or adjust things that need to be adjusted, or change things, whatever. I have a friend who lives in my state. He's a couple hours away, and he is ahead of me on his car, even though he started after me. But I might have told y'all it's going to take me a while to get this done. Anyways, he is going through the registration process as we speak. Like, I think Friday of last week, he drove down to the DMV and dropped off his paperwork. So we'll see how that whole process goes. I'm hoping I will be able to get down there when the state inspector comes. I live in Virginia, for those of you who are going to try and register their cars in Virginia. I'm hoping that I can film his process. If not, we'll try filming mine, and we'll see how it goes. So let me take you guys off the stand, and I'll show you a little bit of what's going on with the hood. So I think the first thing I'm going to talk about are these struts. And they have you mount them to this little stuff is here, and it's just, it seems a little flimsy to me. I don't know if you can kind of see it wobbling some. So I bought some pieces of just aluminum strips, and I'm going to put at least one, if not two strips, one on each side, just to kind of reinforce this. I'll probably go maybe 12 inches long on each side, and see if that'll kind of shore that up some, because it just makes me a little nervous. So there's that. However, let's get into, did I need to cut the mounting bracket as much as I did? Let me get these wires out of the way. And I guess the answer is, yeah, pretty much. Like, not as much as I did. But I definitely, I didn't need to cut it quite as much. I think I could have gotten away with a little bit less, but I definitely did need to cut it, because I also have this hood opening at a fairly high angle. Like, I could have had it come down, so it only opened about this far. And if I had done that, I wouldn't have needed really probably to clearance that at all. But I wanted the hood to come up a little bit higher. So yeah, I needed to cut that some, probably not as much as I did, but we're still pretty stable. So that's where we are on that. On this other side, I didn't cut anything as far as the bracket goes, but I did clearance a notch out of the side of this here, and I definitely needed to do that because we're actually hitting it still. Just barely, but I can take a little bit more of the, no, actually I take that back. It is not hitting, I don't know if you can see, but it's missing by about 1 millimeter. So, but I also have some adjustment. The hood is as far forward as I can have it right now. You see this bolt here, it's all the way, this is pushed all the way forward. on this side, and I believe it's all the way forward. They're still loose. So, I mean, you can see it's still loose. But that bracket is as far forward as it can go. So the hood is as far forward as I can get it. Now let me shut the hood. All right, so I can't even close the hood all the way down because it's hitting the body along here. So I need to take a good bit of material off here and all the way down. Not as much as I have on this tape. I need to readjust this tape. I did a terrible job on that. But I think what I'm gonna do, really all I'm gonna do is just kind of sand this with the DA sander, little bits at a time. Open the hood some, sand it, close it back down until everything fits. But you can also see that I've still got a 1/4 inch or so that the hood needs to move this way. So really, actually if I do go all the way back to this blue tape, it'll be bumped up against this. I won't even have a gap once this hood is moved forward as far as it needs to go. So that's the driver's side. So I need to take all that material off. This here. Then I don't know if you can see, when we get to the passenger side, there's actually a gap. So here, we still need to come forward a little bit. So that'll close up that gap. But I also have a clearance issue down here. And this piece of tape is way off. I need to move that in. But I think I'm good here because look at the gap here. So once I move the whole hood in that 1/4 inch, this gap will close up here. And that should be good. And then I can actually work on trying to get good gaps all the way around. But that's kind of where it is. This side seems to rub a little bit more. So I don't know if I need to move the entire hood just a little bit from the driver's side to the passenger side. I think when I measured, because you can take, you measure from like, I don't know, somewhere in the strut, whatever, and come out to a point. I think I might have been about a 1/4 inch off. So it does need to be centered up a little bit better. I mean, it looks pretty good to the eye, but I want things to fit nice. So, I did mount the little latches. Let me see if I can open this back up. All right. Yeah, so I mounted the latches. That wasn't too bad. I did buy some more new bolts, and the only thing I don't like is it'd be nice if they were like squared up, because these are narrower openings than these. But that's that's okay. Again, this is not a show car. This is not going to be perfect. This is going to be a driver. I probably won't even wash it that often. I know, terrible. But so if I were going to build, $250,000 show car, these would have been perfect, and everything else would have been much more perfect. But it's not, because I'm going to drive this thing and I don't care. So that's kind of where it is with the hood. Next thing I need to do is open these. So I did pay for the cutouts, but they undersized them. So I need to sand that out a little bit bigger to get the buckets to fit. And let's see. I had to clean these up just a little bit, but it wasn't too bad to clean these up. That opening, I'll probably have to clean this opening up a little bit just to square it up some, because you can see it's a little bit rough. And then of course I have to sand down everything, all these mold seams everywhere around this car. And I still have these just loose because those are going to get adjusted once the hood is all adjusted. So after everything's kind of clearance down and I've got decent gaps, then I can actually worry about it, where the latch goes. And then of course I still need to mount the alignment pins. and a handful of other things. But that is where I am with the hood. You can see all the scraping that's happened with this not quite hitting. I think it curves in a little bit tighter on this side. That'll probably relax over time once it gets used to sitting in place. But you can see when I go to close it how far in this one curves. So, you know, once it's all together and it gets just to sit, this should kind of bow out a little bit once it's kind of used to where it needs to be. But that's what we've got. The whole hood has to go back about a 1/4 inch or so that way. But before I can do that, I need to make room for that to happen. And yeah, about a little bit more on this side than that side. But again, I've got the whole hood as far forward as possible. So that's about it. Just wanted to give a quick update on what's going on. I finally, after 2 months, got the time to have my wife help me put the hood, rest it on the car, and I got it mounted. And I'm pretty happy with how easily it went on. And you know, just getting the adjustments and getting things sanded down a little bit so I can have decent gaps. I also haven't mounted like the little rubber bumpers that go around and a handful of other things. So there's lots of little details. But I wanted to share with you, did I actually need to cut that bracket? And it turns out I did. Probably not quite as much as I actually did. So maybe if you guys are a little timid about whether or not you need to cut it, you know, go ahead and get your hood mounted first. Open it up, see if it opens as wide as you want it to, and if it hits anywhere, you know, do some marks and clearance things out after you get the hood in place. I was judging it based on, you know, just moving the brackets, moving the hinges where they were. Now, something else that I haven't thought about until just this second is once I move everything that 1/4 inch back, my clearances are going to be a little bit tighter. So I may have to even take some more out once it's moved back, that little 1/4 inch that I need to do to line up the wheel well with the body. So I might not be done clearancing. Anyway, hit me up with your thoughts, comments, critiques, criticisms, you know, words of advice, whatever, you know, in the comments below. I always appreciate your feedback. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you on the next one. Hopefully, you know, next time there'll be a lot more done. I'm probably not going to film much of the work that I'm doing on camera because it's pretty straightforward and it's kind of different almost for everybody. Like how much do you need to take off when you sand, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to give you some updates from here forward, I think, on progress. But if you want to see something in particular, feel free to hit me up in the comments and I'll try to film that. If I've already done it, I apologize. You know, I'd want to try and give you guys something that's useful to you. And, you know, I think watching me sand isn't very useful. If you want to watch somebody sand, go to Cobra Daytona Build. He did a great job. Actually, lots of good information on how to sand. I'm not a body guy, so go to Cobra Daytona Build and look at his videos. Don't talk to me about it because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, well, that's it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I've already said that, but we're going to say it again. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.